Look at the new drip. Look at the drip. Looking fresh, dude.
Yo, fist pump.
Yeah, looking good, mate. All right, let's go. This is Trill Talk. Every Monday in the UK and Ireland, and Tuesday morning in Australia, where I am right now. I'm your host, Aaron Shimmons.
And I'm Ricki Wynne.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. I have my Western States mug. I actually broke. I broke my other mug the other day.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. But it's all right. At least I didn't break this mug. I broke the other one, the big one. So now I have to drink out of the Western States one. So that's winning. That's winning in life.
Yeah, well, you got to look on the positive side every single time. But look, big, big weekend. It feels like the season is off. You know, we've got the spine and Arc of Attrition and things happen, but now we're really in the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. But as well, like having like Black Canyon on, having Tarawera on, and then out of nowhere we get the announcement that Barkley's happening. It was like Christmas, Easter, birthdays all rolled into one. Like it was insane this weekend.
Kind of nuts. That's what we're going to talk about. So we've got a bit of a news and banter show going through our takes on what's happened this past weekend, as well as the usual training and a few other things that we have on the agenda. So yeah, let's kick it off. Like it feels like Tarawera was a long time ago
Yeah,
because of everything else
yeah,
that happened since. But we should
yeah,
probably start it off and just like touch on Tarawera because the favourites nailed it as we thought that they would. Dan Jones, four times in a row, winning,
yeah.
slayed it.
Slated.
And before we come on to Ruth, I just want to say, you know how I am the wet weather god?
Mm.
I had an entry for Tarawera. The weather gods thought I was going to be there.
They definitely did. Yeah, they definitely did because you brought. Even though you didn't go, you brought the shit weather. You brought the
Yeah,
bad weather because it was muggy, foggy, and wet and everything. It was like it was a very strange year for Tarawera.
yeah, and it's the middle of summer.
Yeah. Well, it didn't slow Dan Jones down one little bit. It didn't slow him down at all. If Anthony was probably quicker, like half an hour lead up on second place, absolutely crushed it. Took the lead after what, 40 kilometers or 42 kilometers. Never looked back. Nobody was close to him. We said it, we called it. I think it was a bit of a no-brainer. It was like Dan Jones all the way. Nobody else is going to touch him, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and Tarawera was part of the Fantasy League. So we kicked that off as well, or the second race actually, in that Black Canyon wasn't part of it because 10 deep was just too much to make
Yeah.
people do picks for. I ended up doing picks for it anyway, but didn't include it in the league. I just think like it's better for us to have more people participating, and sometimes 10 deep for a race is too much. But Josh was saying to me that prior to Black Canyon 50K, I was sitting in 10th overall for the entirety of fantasy. And I was no way I was doing Black Canyon 50 and 100K picks. Not a chance. I didn't even follow the 50K.
No, I only like took a glance at the 50K. It was like the 100K was more than enough excitement for me, and it was like I invested. I did, in fairness, like I got home from work on Saturday. Uh, I'm trying to think, how did I do it? No,
I'll tell
yeah,
you what you did. I'll tell you what you did. You got
yeah.
home on Valentine's Day and you said to Trina, I've got a lovely wee evening planned for us. Get YouTube on the telly, love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah, but that
exactly
was
what
it.
happened,
Yeah.
right?
Like I had invested like a lot of time on Valentine's Day. Look, it's okay. I didn't get in trouble for it, but I mean, Trina had to sit through a lot of that race, so she did. But you know what? In fairness to Aravipa, like it is one of the races that I don't mind watching the live feed. It's a pretty decent live feed. It could be better, you know what I mean? It could be a little bit better. Sometimes it doesn't just do the leaders of the race justice. It's not following them enough. But it's not bad. It's not bad. And you can kind of like look, for me it's like Western States is the big race, right? It's super famous race. But I mean the way Aravipa do Black Canyon, I always like get really into it, and I'm like, man, that's a race I want to do because the footage is really good. Like,
Yeah. It- I think it makes a big difference whenever there's drone footage.
mm,
Like, it's better than some shaky cam, or sometimes they just have like a static cam at other races whenever there's no follow. But like
yeah,
the drone footage really helps them put that together. And then they've also
yeah.
got different voices on the stream as well, which is nice for a change, I think. So
Yeah. And they know their stuff. Like they know the athletes, they know the brands, they know the shoes when they're talking about what the athletes are wearing and stuff like that. So they do know what they're talking about. But as well, like the drone footage just shows how sick that trail is, you know what I mean? Like it's showing it like, and it's just so much single track. It's just beautiful single track. It looks like, but that's the thing too. It looks like it's so runnable. It looks like it's just fast, fast, fast. And you don't get a feel that it's as technical as some people say it is, you know, like, because me looking at that, it looks like it's not technical. It's kind of like Western States. But going into the chat, in the Trail Talk chat, and listen to the lads that have ran it or crewed at it, and they'll tell you, like, it is pretty technical, you know?
yeah, well, I was chatting to Adam yesterday, and he ran the 50K, and he PR'd as well. So shout out to Adam, and he was saying that uh, it's just like rocky, off camber, very twisty and turny. And whenever you see it on the drone, it does kind of look like mountain bike trail to me
Yeah.
in a lot of places. And running fast on mountain bike trail is difficult just because of like the directional changes. And then when it's loose underfoot as well, we saw like we'll come to the race and the runners after we finish off in Tarawera. But did you see Hans nearly roll the ankle at the end?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, just coming up to the finish line, like as in, yeah. But that was just, I'd say that was just like complete DOMs, as in the quads were blown to bits. Like there was nothing left, you know. And it was like he just got so excited, and then the legs just went. That was just nothing left in the tank. That was cool, actually. He saved himself, though. You know, he saved himself.
Yeah, I wonder did he feel it afterwards because didn't he stumble over the line as well? I wonder
You
was that
could,
the ankle?
yeah, you could see him, but you could also see him cramping. He was cramping. The second he stopped, he started to cramp, you know. So whether that was, you know what I mean, the DOMs from being trashed and then cramping straight away, like, you know. So yeah, I'd say that's what it was as well, you know.
It's not to be honest, like it's nice to see the cramping and rather than just assume that was effortless and he just
Yeah.
flew it at like, 6 minute miles, which is absolutely nuts.
But still super impressive. Like the speed he's running. He's running at a ridiculous speed, and watching that like finish line, because you can see him. He's probably got like 300 meters to go, and you have that live footage of him coming up to the finish line just before he stumbles, and he's still got a really good stride on him. Like his gait is lovely. He's up on his toes. Man's after running like 7:20 for 100K. You know, like it's very very impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it is. And like we'll come on to Black Canyon later on. Tarawera. Let's go back from the desert. We'll go back to the slop. Ruth Croft
Yeah.
absolutely nailed it again, as we thought that she would. GOAT status for Ruth for sure. Didn't take the golden ticket. Didn't think she would. What do you think
Mm.
about that?
Yeah, I didn't think she was going to take it anyway. You know, I didn't think she was going to take it, but it was cool. Look, I'm delighted she didn't take it because there was only, was there two in that race? Was there two golden tickets in that
Yeah,
race, or yeah, it was two, right? So then it went to the next two down. I'm glad it went to those two, especially to I, I I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, but Hanika or what, you know, the
yeah.
Japanese girl. I'm a big fan of her. She's a Hoka athlete. I got to run 40 kilometers with her at Worlds and just watch her. And I mean, she is so impressive and she's so happy. Like, you know what I mean? Every time we got to the top of the climb, she looked at me and bowed her head and said, thank you, thank you. You know, and I was like going, believe me, I didn't help you get up that hill. You're doing that all on your own. She was crushing me. Like, I was just hanging on to her for dear life, like, you know. So I was delighted for her. But yeah, look, going back to Ruth. She had an amazing race. She was very, very smart and controlled and patient, and she didn't get caught up in a race at all at the start. She was just doing her own thing. And then, like Dan Jones, just took her lead when she thought she timed it right. Again, that's tactical awareness, race experience, all of those things rolled into one, and she just cruised it out then to a finish, you know.
Yeah, and it shows you how important like the quick transitions are in the aid stations because yeah, she won it by just a few minutes, 2, 3 minutes or something like that. But it's drop the bottles, grab the bottles, keep moving, never really stopping. And like if you were stopping at the various aid stations, that would easily eat up a couple of minutes. So everyone has to do that now if they're gonna be in the podium.
Yeah, in a race like that, and it's the same with like in those kind of races, there is no stopping. There is no stopping. Like I would be interested to see her accumulated time. Same with Dan Jones. You know, their accumulated times in the aid stations. I'd say they're like a minute over the whole lot of them. You know, maybe 90 seconds max, which is insane. Like for a 100K race.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Nice to see one of the golden tickets going to a Kiwi as well on the female side. It's nice that whenever the races happen in that region, that someone who is at the top in that region also gets a ticket. So was actually by not taking it was given a fellow country person another ticket as well, which was good.
Yeah, yeah, that's always cool. Um, you're a big fan of Lucy. Lucy didn't have a day. She had a tough day out there. What do you make of that?
Sometimes shit just happens.
Mm.
I don't think she's gone into what actually did happen, but sometimes you just don't have a day. And it was already going to be a hard race for her, but given where the tickets went to, she definitely was ticket worthy. She wasn't
Yeah.
going to beat Ruth. I don't think she was going to beat Caitlin, but she could have got a ticket.
Yeah, definitely the potential there. It like the way they rolled down, so they rolled down to three, so there was definitely a chance for her to finish on a podium, like third place or even a fourth place. But yeah, look, that's ultra running, right? At the same time, I'm glad to see that not everything is great and everything's easy for these people. You know what I mean? It's nice to see that they have shit days and that they struggle because, you know, that's just ultra running. Ultras are hard. Running's hard. You know, running marathons is hard. Running 50Ks is hard. And running 100Ks is extremely hard.
The Yeah, and didn't Lucy now say, maybe Canyon? She's gonna have to go to Canyon. So she was just in it for the ticket. She wasn't
Yeah.
trying to win it. But now she's gonna have to roll it forward to Canyons. So yeah, gets very close to states as well. That
It gets close to states and it's stacked. It'll be stacked as well. Like that's, you know what I mean? Maybe a couple of years ago it mightn't have been as competitive, but right now, here and now, that race will be stacked because it'll be one of the last ones before states, right? It's very very close to
it's the
getting that
last one,
ticket.
isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be a tough one now. That's going to be tough.
What about Petter? Stomach issues?
Yeah, looking like he got a bit of a bug or something, like one of those, maybe like a 24-hour bug. Really unfortunate for him. And if it was anyone else, I'd probably say, yeah, maybe just suck it up or something. But Petter's tough. I know how tough Petter is. Like, and it would have had to been pretty serious to put a halt to him, I think, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunate, but shit happens. I think he was. I mean, shit happens. Probably poor choice of words there, but didn't he say it was hitting him from like 10K in or something? So
Yeah.
like super early, he was like, "Uh-oh, oh
Mm.
no."
I think he knew. I think he knew, like from the word go, like you know, even just standing at the start line, the stomach was probably gurgling, and he probably knew that oh, this is going to be nasty.
Oh no.
I just have something me tea while we talk about that.
And then let's move on to Barkley. Oh, before we go there, drop the vlog on the channel,
Mm.
what, 2, 3, 4 hours ago. It dropped whenever I was asleep. I scheduled it to come out for kind of evening time in Europe. But yeah, dropped the vlog from the meetup in Mourne. So it's 8 minutes long. It's nice and short. There wasn't that much happening, but we crammed a lot into the 8 minutes. The meetup, the run, the the unfortunate end to my run. But yeah, drop that on YouTube. You know where to find it. Go and let us know what you think. There's another one in the works right now, and I think there's two more in the planning stages for March. And Ricky's got a camera on route.
Yeah, yeah. But even I haven't got a chance to look at it yet, so I'll be looking at it probably after this show.
Yeah, Adam in the chat mentioned about Jacob Banta, who also got a ticket at
Yeah,
Tarawera. Yeah, incredible run. Did not have him in my fantasy picks, unfortunately, but nice to see. Nice to see him getting a ticket. I think it's always cool whenever somebody like surprises onto the podium, not sponsored, known more
yeah,
as a cameraman for me personally, like
yeah,
a
yeah.
camera runner, but also knew that he was a really good runner as well. So yeah, nice to see that.
That's really cool. Like that is like that's the stuff that's the kind of thing that is inspires me. You know what I mean? That's like when, like before I was a pro. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to find an athlete to hang on to, kind of go, well, look what he did. You know, look what she did, and they weren't pro, and now they're pro, and like that's a cool story. Like he is Banta visuals. He's a cameraman. He takes pictures of other professional runners. That's what he does, you know what I mean? But yes, we know he's a good runner, but there'd be tons of people that would have seen him pop up, get a ticket, and not have a clue who he is. Like, not have a clue. Like, so I think that's really, really cool. Very, very happy for him. Like, that's incredible result. Like, just behind Dan Jones. That's what I'd be telling everyone for the rest of my life. If I finish second behind Dan Jones in Tarawera 100K, I'd
Yeah,
retire. I'd retire.
on his home trails, no doubt.
Yeah, it's so cool, so
Wearing
cool.
a Tantrums vest, obviously that's why Adam's reminding us. So yeah, nice to see Tantrums on the podium and getting the ticket. So pretty cool to see that. Um, Barkley, February,
Yes.
February Barkley. We didn't see that coming.
Nah, out of the blue, completely out of the blue. But also like out of the blue, and then so many like question marks. Who's in it? Who's this? Who's that? There was some big names floating around. It had us all intrigued. Killian Jornet, what did you do when you saw his name pop up on the screen?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, it can't be. And then I think it was Nick in the chat was like, oh yeah, based on his Strava, he's gone quiet. And then, this
Hmm.
the speculation starts to circulate, and it was all nothing. It was based on one person saying, I think I saw someone that looked like Killian in a video. And I looked this video multiple times trying to see if I could spot anything. I'm like, there's very little you can see in this dark with very few lights at this mini gate. It wasn't even the big gate, so it was quite a focused shot as well. I couldn't believe that he was going to be in it, but man, it would have been flipping
Wouldn't
interesting if
it?
if he had been.
Yeah. I know, like, cause I was the same. I was like going, nah, no way, not a chance. But then it was like, but maybe
But it
he
would, but
is.
it would
And
be
then,
cool. Like,
oh, it'd be so cool. It would be because you would like, you'd be thinking, there's not hope he's going to do, but at the same time, you'd be thinking, yeah, but if he did, what could he do there? Like, cause it'd be amazing to see what Killian would do on Barkley. And I like to think he'd be intrigued to do Barkley. I like to think he would be because he's up for anything, and it was fun though. It was fun. It was like refresh. No, he's gone. No.
so there was talk that it was moved to February because Laz's son has taken over part of the organizing of it and he wanted to put his stamp on it. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but either way, a full month earlier, instead of around April Fools, it then went on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, also think about Barkley. They always try to make it harder. What's the difference between the end of March and the middle of February? it's darker and it's colder.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Yeah.
be even harder as well.
Yeah, and they got some horrific conditions, I think, especially on day two. They got really, really bad conditions on day two. But it's just, I don't know. I suppose the disappointing thing about it just been thrown on us that early, we're not expecting it at all, and it was so long before we figured out who was actually in the race. And by the time we figured out who was in it, they were nearly all gone. And I was like, that's a bit of a buzzkill. Like, it's like we're only now hearing a few names of who's in it, who might be in it, and who's definitely in it. And then like 70% of the runners were out at that stage.
Yeah, so only 12 of the 40 started the second loop and only four went on to the third. And then
Mm,
we only had one finisher of the third, which was Sébastien Raichon, who only a month earlier won the spine.
yeah. I don't understand that. Like that to me is huge potential for Sebastian to actually go and do the five loops at Barkley. I was going to say win Barkley, but do you actually win Barkley? I don't think you win Barkley. You complete Barkley. But like that's a great for most people, if you got a fun run, you'd be saying, well, you might never get any further than that because it's damn near impossible to even get a fun run. But coming off the back of spine, like he can't even be fully recovered. No way is he fully recovered. And he goes and he does a fun run, gets three loops at Barkley. So like that's definitely a dude that can go all the way.
Yeah, Leon in chat says makes the spine look easy. Well, in fairness, like I'm in a WhatsApp group with Irish tour runners, and we were basically saying 38 hours at Barkley for Sebastian, based on what he normally runs, that's like a normal 100-mile runner doing a half marathon. 38 hours is not
Yeah.
is not a lot for him. That like for me, I'm starting to hit sleep deprivation in the mid 30 hours usually.
Yeah.
And Sebastian's superpower is his ability to not really need sleep or to be able to still move well whenever he's sleep deprived. He probably wasn't even that sleep deprived at 38 hours, but I do think that like the cold weather and just the course itself did really destroy him.
Yeah, well, like he ended the spine in a bin liner, right? And then he ended Barkley. I don't know what he was in. What was he wearing? Like it looked like a designer bin liner because it had some logos on it or something, but it was definitely not much better than the bin liner.
Yeah, well, the bin liner with Sebastian came from his first go at the Barkley. He actually finished it in a bin liner as well. But he found the bin liner in a bin in the park, and it was so cold, like he took it out of the bin and put it on as an extra layer. So that's where his association with bin liners has come from. And maybe
Yeah.
now he has a bin liner sponsor.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a
Designer
bin
bin
liner is
liner.
just a cheap
Yeah.
poncho, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That is it. Yeah, like I'm guessing that was a poncho he had on him, but it wasn't much of anything. That wasn't keeping you warm. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it was, and it was shredded. It was ripped to bits as well. Like,
As it would be with the Briars. Look, what
yeah,
do you think about Jamil and Barkley,
yeah.
his Barkley association, and then one of his biggest races, like the biggest 100K race in North America, happening at the same time as Barkley? Like that had to be, he was probably surprised by it.
I would think he wasn't that impressed with it either, like, because he's he's been very invested in Barkley over the years, a big advocate for it as well, big fan. He's ran it, I don't know, numerous times. And then, he throws on Black Canyon and then Laz does this, but sure, Laz doesn't give a shite. Like, Laz probably didn't even know Black Canyon was on. Hey, he probably hasn't a clue what Black Canyon is, nor care who's in it, nor care about Jamil either, really. So
I do
he's alone to
love,
himself.
I do love that the Barkley, like going back to what you're saying about the code words or the names, old French
Mm.
guy, chiseled face guy, or something was the other one, which is probably Matteo Blanchard. But I kind of do. love it from a Barkley perspective that they do that because it does make it hard to follow. Like if I go back 2 years, I did live streams during Barkley just with like updates on the loops. It's not really possible to do it. Like people were asking me, you gonna do that this year? I was asked the same thing, you gonna do it last year? But by the time then we know who we're talking about, we're nearly done. So
Yeah,
it didn't,
but it seemed to be when you did that time, that did give us maybe it was just a different Barkley and the weather was better and they stayed in it a bit longer and we were able to you were almost able to get invested in it. This year it was just like, no, it's over. It's Barkley's over and that's it because it happened so fast. Once it doesn't go past the three loops, then it's over and there's nothing to coming out of it. You know what I mean? Like, because I seen there was Ian Keats who did a great job on the spine with us on his Facebook page and we were able to get updates. He got like one bit of an update in, and by the time I read that, Barkley was over. And like we had some cool, we had Emma Stewart from Ireland who was in it as well. You know what I mean? Which was super cool. I'm guessing that was confirmed that she was in it. Yeah, that was
yeah.
confirmed that she was
hmm
in it. Yeah. So that was super cool. But again, she was gone on day one, and then it's like, you want to follow these people and you want to get invested in them, but it's such a brutal course that it's over before you know it.
Not even a picture of
Yeah.
Emma Stewart. Not even a picture of Matthew Blanchard either. I haven't seen any of this stuff. Obviously, a few pictures have come out since it's ended. We've seen Damo Hall with no shoes on at the gate.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a creek crossing straight after the start because it was a new course this time, as in a new location, new starting position in the park because of construction. So it was a smaller gate. It was like mini Barkley gate, but it was still yellow. So yeah, I have to agree with what you're saying. Like it was a hard one to follow, and it was over before like the hype started to get going.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was I going to say? I was going to say, oh, I'm not forgetting it there now, but like it was just over. It was like Keith thing, the guy who was he had it up that Barkley is over. There is no finisher of Barkley. And I was like, oh man. But that's what I was going to say. I was going to say about Damien Hall. You had Damien with no shoes and everyone that was going mad. There was a lot of things. What's he doing? Why is he running barefoot? Did he not have time to put his shoes on? But then it made a lot of sense once we heard about that freak, because I know Matthew Blanchard, he was throwing plastic bags. No, actually, yeah, maybe Matthew was, but Max King was throwing plastic bags on his feet as well, because got to look after the feet. He was saying in his Instagram post or something. But even on that, Damien Hall, am I right in saying that Damien Hall finished the three loops, but he didn't have all the pages? That's a sickener. He has no luck in that race when it comes to finishing.
Yeah, but like, with Damien, he has the ability, like the
Mm,
physical ability and the mental ability. I think his weakness is on navigation, so it doesn't surprise me that he come back on loop three and didn't have all the pages. Like
yeah.
it's his Achilles heel is the nav, and unless you're doing that and learning how to nav and run with a compass and like thumbing a map from an early age, it's hard to. Well, you driving the car. It's
For anyone that doesn't know, I was just twisting my hands over and back because that's me turning the map upside down and wondering which way is up.
but like in orienteering, like I got a bit of paper. In orienteering, you run with the map folded over with a thumb compass on the map, and
Mm,
you're like, you'll have your bearing. You'll look forward at a place in the distance, like, it depends on the weather. It might be 20 meters ahead, it might be 50 meters ahead, depending on visibility. A certain like boulder or a feature, and then you'll run to that, check your compass, pick another point, run to that. So you're not like always running looking at the compass. Oh, am I on, 241 north or whatever? So it's a skill that's difficult. I Whenever I was getting into the fell running rounds, I joined an orienteering club and I would go
yeah.
orienteering and do midweek races in Belfast. And like, it's just you have to hold back your intensity. You have to slow down to give your brain a percentage of your brain to the navigation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just overrun, and then whenever you have to backtrack, it's not like you're going back to the last marker. Because when you turn around, that boulder that you're running towards is a different look, a different shape. You mightn't see it. So, look, I don't think Damien's ever going to finish the Barkley. I would love to see him finish it, but he's always
Yeah.
going to have that navigation issue.
I used to like would say when anytime I ever tried, to read the map and read the compass, my biggest flaw, like, I have lots of flaws when it comes to nav, but like my biggest one was like knowing what height you're at. You could drop down 200 meters, and you're in the right direction, but you're after dropping down 200 meters, so you got to go back up 200 meters then, and I'd be doing that all the time, like I'm taxing myself all the time with vert, trying to get it back and like always dipping down because I'd be running too
Too
fast and all,
fast, too
yeah,
fast.
yeah. And then like naturally running the downs, if you know what I mean. So you're always falling off where you need to be going. Like I need to be going up, but I'm going down. Even when I was doing like setting like I set FKTs on the 12 bends in Connemara and in the Mam Turks and stuff like that. But I did them so badly. I just want someone to break my FKT so I can go back and do it properly.
Yeah, let's just remind the audience that my knowledge of you before we knew each other personally, so going back maybe I would say going back 8 years, I knew Ricki Wynne as the guy who was very fast, that was coming through 50K, 80K, but he had this thing where he kept getting lost, kept taking wrong turns. You're like the Irish Walmsley.
Yeah, yeah. Stuck on instead of lost on Highway 49, it was just it's stuck in a river somewhere or something.
Do we think that Jamil will go back to Barkley?
I still think he will. I don't think. Are you kind of saying, oh, will he be upset that this
No,
happened?
no,
And he no,
no. I just mean like, he hasn't, I think that's 2 years now. He hasn't been there.
yeah,
Has
yeah.
his Barkley obsession passed? Has he kind of thought, I'm not gonna finish this, and he's lost the motivation to try?
Well, he could well be that way. I'd like to think that he still has a love for like a grow for it, like, and he'd like to go back and do it. But like you said, look, if you try something all the time, and I'm a big believer in, if you keep trying, you'll eventually succeed. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes something like Barkley is impossible. It's that thing that you will never ever be able to do. And if you know that, it's very hard to keep coming back for something that you're going to fail at over and over again. Like there's one thing trying to be motivated when you know that that's very unmotivating.
Yeah, and I guess you would say if you keep showing up, right, Ricky?
Yeah, something like that. But if you keep showing up and fail all the time, that maybe show up at something else.
Yeah, pick where you show up.
Yeah.
Look, going back, whenever we like the earlier years of Barkley, whenever I started following it as the earlier years for me, back when Jamil was, a staple at it, I thought, oh yeah, maybe I would like that because I like that kind of adventure, long time out there, the unknown, the
Yeah.
navigation. And I thought, yeah, maybe I would want to give that a go. And then whenever people that you actually know, Ian Keith, Billy
Yeah.
Reid, Irish runners who are great runners, but also probably even better navigators.
Yeah.
And Billy Reid didn't even finish loop one. And like that would mean I would essentially be paying to go out to Tennessee for to get lost in a 20-mile loop.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
know.
straight away I was
Uh,
like, you ain't showing up to that. That's not for me. It's Barkley is actually too hard.
Yeah, like nearly the exact same for me. It's like when I first got into the to this sport, Barkley was one of those things that like I was kind of a little bit obsessed with. I watched so many. I watched the Ginger Runners YouTube video. I thought that was very good, and then I watched the other one, the original one as well, and I watched them like maybe 10 times each. And I just thought, yeah, I'd love to do that. But the the smarter and more knowledge I got over the years made me realize, yeah, I'm never doing Barkley. As much as I'd like to do it, like you said, looking at the likes of Billy and Ian Keats, like Ian Keats is probably the best nav man in Ireland. Probably the best nav man in Ireland. Like I'd say that with confidence. And he managed 2 loops, and he's the best nav man in Ireland. I wouldn't be able to tie his shoelaces when it comes to nav. You know what I mean? Like I would be the apprentice's apprentice when it comes to the knowledge I'd have compared to Ian Keats. Like, so that's enough for me, because everybody always says, oh, I'd say you'd love to do it, because they might have watched a clip about it, or they might have heard about it and think, oh, you're very good at running and you're very fat. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. It's too hard. It's too hard.
Yeah, to finish it, you need to be athletically strong, great with sleep deprivation, a great navigator,
Yeah.
and also be able to problem solve as well and adjust because the weather, the change in direction, the course is against you, Laz is against you, and we've seen the quality of the people that have finished it, like Jared Campbell, tough as
Yeah.
nails, mountain man, like, I'm not that caliber.
The way you listed it off there, like you listed it off, and it is exactly what you said. It's the race that's not meant to be finished. It's not meant to be finished. It's just a couple of freaks have been able to finish it.
Yeah. Speaking of finishers, do we think Sébastien Raichon will go back third time maybe? Because we can't have hard years every year. There's fluctuation. Like we would say, this year was a little bit harder than last year, and last year was harder than the year before because there was 5 finishers. So
5,
maybe
yeah.
maybe next year there'll be an adjustment. Maybe it'll be back to the original gate. It does
Yeah,
come down to an
exactly.
experience thing.
Of course it does. Like, sure, it's like you look at Jared Campbell and John Kelly and lads that have finished it like 3 times, or Jared might have even finished it 4 maybe.
Four
Well, anyway,
times, yeah.
yeah. So like that's experience. That's him going back year after year and then getting in with somebody like John Kelly, and they're kind of working together and getting through it, and you learn and you learn and you learn and you get experience, and Sébastien will only get more experience from that as well. I definitely think he'll go back. I can't see him not going back. Like that's what that man just loves doing. He loves adventures like that. So that's right up his street. He'll definitely be back, and he will definitely finish it.
Yeah, and then Matteo Blanchard, he's a guy that I think we all would love him to call him like an ultra trail guy, but he's actually not. He's just good at lots of things, and he
Yeah.
seems to seek out like the iconic races. Like I think at the end of his career, he would like to have done, UTMB, Hard Rock States, MDS, Badwater, like, tick them off. The Iditarod, all of these
Yeah.
races that are just left field of your classic mountain ultra trail. So do you think he'll go back?
Yeah. Again, I agree with what you're saying there as well, because he isn't that normal. We look at him and I look at him as like one of the best, like he's a badass trail runner. Yeah, exactly. And he just rips up the
Shredded?
trails, and he runs marathons in like 2:20, you know what I mean? Or under probably 2:20, and then he goes and he rips up UTMB in like record time, only to be beaten by Killian Jornet. And you think, yeah, that's the route he's going. And then he just completely pivots and he does a massive race over in the Yukon. You know what I mean? So like he just wants to do everything. He kind of reminds me of a younger Max King, really. Because Max King is that kind of guy too, he doesn't just do one kind of race. He does everything. He is like a road running background. He has a trail running background. He does adventure races. He does some crazy, crazy adventures, and that's what he seems to like about the sport is what excites them, and they do what excites them, and they just think of something in their head, and that they say, well, I don't care about this sponsor or that sponsor. This is what I want to do, and hopefully my sponsors will support me. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a celebrity in Canada. Not and just with it being Canada, being far away, being French speaking as well, as in him being French speaking from Quebec. I don't think we see that as much about him, but like he has a book out as well, and
Yeah.
I think he worked on that after the podium at UTMB. So yeah, he's an interesting guy, and I could think he'll go back at Bart for another go at Barkley.
Yeah, I also think that he has a lot going on in his head too. I remember watching it was the I don't know what it was. It was like he was trying to get fast for the marathon, and it was a YouTube kind of documentary. Could have been like an hour and a half long or whatever. But like he's a deep dude, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on upstairs as well, and I don't think he minds going into a dark place and having a little suffer for himself.
Yeah. So wrapping up on Barkley, 20 finishers in 40 years and 2 consecutive years with none.
Yeah, 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 it's the race that's not meant to be finished. That's it, like and it's like do not press the red button. It's what draws the attention every year, isn't it? It's like if you tell someone you can't finish something, they want to prove you wrong, and that's what Barclay's built on.
Yeah. All right, Ricky, let's come on to the training update and then we'll circle back into Black Canyon. What's the last week's training been like for you? Give me your volume.
Volume this was kind of like a sort of a down week for me before I start going into a proper block for Swiss Canyon Trail. Excuse me. I almost had it. I like said the right canyon all show so far. So look, that's not bad, right? But no, we'll say this was kind of like a down week for me, so a little less volume, but I still had pretty good intensity, but I had a lot more easy runs in it this week. I'm coming in with 104 kilometers, about 8.5 hours of training this week. I had some very easy days, like where I was actually running at like 5 minute, 5:05 kilometers. That was like Monday and Tuesday, I think, and they were like maybe 16K runs, but they were super easy, very, very easy because I was just trying to recover as best I could. Wednesday, then I had a bit of a session, so I think I ran 10K pretty hard, and then 2K of a sort of a cool down in that. I think I hit because I was doing it for the Albon app as well because I was just after registering for the Albon app, and on the Albon app it was you could enter your threshold work or something like that, but you could also enter your latest 10K. So I said, sure, I'll just go and run 10K. And I think I put down a 34-minute 10K in the four, like I ran 14K, but within that 14, there was a 34-minute 10K in there. So I was like, all right, there's that. And then I was able to put that into the Albon app. The next day then was super easy.
You're a
And then
nice sickener, you.
the Friday was super easy. The Saturday was super easy, and then on the Sunday I had a pacing job. So like my local town and my local athletic club throw on a half marathon every year, and it's called the Tony McGowan half marathon. That was on yesterday, and I was pacing the hour 30 runners. That was class, man. That was so much fun. Like I've done it a couple of times before. Always paced the 1:30. That's the quickest pace you can pace in the half marathon. It's just so much fun. But this year was class because I had about 20 runners, male and female runners with me for maybe 19K. We were able to hold a nice group together. Was able to we were like the Mighty Ducks, you know what I mean? I would say get into formation, get in nice and tight, get right in. And I was even making bigger lads go in front of me. So this, everyone else could draft, you know what I mean? Because there's no point having me out in front because you're not going to get much drafting behind me. But it was class. It was great fun. And again, it was like 4:15 a kilometer for 21 kilometers. So it's still a good workout for me as well, So I ended up with 21K in that race, but I ended up with 34K all in with my warm up and cool down. So that was a great training day for me.
Yeah, so you had the winning peloton plan. You were getting people cycling through in front. That's a good move. It must have been fun running with the group and leading the group. I've often wondered what it's like pacing, but whenever you're pacing like a local race like that, where everyone would know you, it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, that's the pacer because they've got a flag, because they've got a bib. People actually in that race will have all known you. That would have been a nice distraction for them.
Yeah, I think so. Like, and at the very start of the race, like, look, I'm pretty vocal, and I'd make myself known straight away. As in, look, I'm pacing the thing. This is my road. I own this road. Okay, this is mine. I know every inch of this trail, road, whatever you want to call it. So do what I do, whatever I say, do, and I'll get you a PB. I'll get you in under that 130. You know what I mean? So from the word go, everyone knows what they have to do, you know. But I was expecting maybe max 8 or 10 people. But then I look behind me and it's like, oh, this is deadly. We actually have a train, you know. We have a train, and like I could see as well, like up ahead, the people that went out a little bit too hot. You know, it was like the elastic band, and they're coming back to me, and I just be saying to everybody, all right, I'm just going to let them hop on the train, you know. So once I come up to them, I'd say, just sit in, just sit in. Let us do the work. You sit in, catch your breath, and we'll get you back in the race, you know. And I just thought that was super cool because it's very rare I get to do something like that because if I'm racing, you know, and I'm not. It's a very solo thing, whereas in that felt like you were part of a team. And look, it's that whole road running side of things that looks very cool on Instagram when you see a group of lads or you see the Kenyans or you see the Olympians or whatever, you know, and it just looks super cool. And you have that buzz even in a local race like that.
Yeah, yeah, it must have been cool. I was expecting to see some selfies or something. There was only one picture I saw from it, and somebody else took it.
Yeah, so I didn't have the phone on me during that because like I was pretty I actually had two gels that I forgot to bring with me. I left them on the wall beside the start line, and I forgot to bring them because I went looking for a gel to hand it to somebody. You know, and I didn't need a gel, but I was like, I'll bring these just in case somebody's struggling. But I actually forgot the gels on the wall, so I had nothing. I didn't even have a waist belt or anything on me. I just had the pacer top. We had like an allocated top that people would know we were pacing, and then I just had my oh I also had the Cielo X1 3.0 on my feet. I'm telling you, we have super shoes, right, in trail. We have super shoes in trail, but we don't have super shoes like they have on the roads. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between a carbon plated trail shoe and a carbon plated road shoe. Carbon plated road shoes that are designed specifically for that marathon, they're just cheating. They're just plain cheating. 4:15 a kilometer never felt so easy. I'm not messing with you. It's so easy to run that fast in a shoe like that.
I think in a size nine, 9.5 UK, they're like 200 grams.
Yeah.
Super
They're
light. I mean, light, whenever light and a foam, unbelievable. And you also got a
yeah.
sick colorway. You got like the
Yeah.
best colorway, I think.
Yeah, because there's like a sort of an luminous yellow going about, and I was like, look, I have no say in the color really a lot of the time, you know, like Hoka will send me a shoe, I'm always grateful to get these shoes, but I mean sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I got that color, you know, and that was the shoe I wanted. I wanted it in that color, and it came in that color, and I was actually thinking. Because in the carbon plated road shoes, I'm always up a half size, but in the Cielo X1, I'm true to size in that, you
Right.
know. And they sent me a 7, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they were meant to send me a 7.5 UK, but it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, you got the colorway that we were sharing and chatting about. Was like, yeah, these look sick.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. On. I don't have enough of a need to drop 350 Aussie on a pair of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But they do.
280 euro, I think. Yeah, so that's what you'd be. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the currents, the supplements that we're taking? What was your protocol this week? Still on two a day? Any more around the
Yeah.
race?
So nearly all week during the week, what I was doing was I was taking one pre-run, so like maybe 2 hours before the run, and then I would pop another one after the run. So I'd have me dinner and just have another one, right? But then pre-race, I had two, and then I had two after. And like again, like it's always hard to know, like, is it doing that? But I mean, during the race, let's say during the race, that's a week, that's a full week of using them. My energy levels were through the roof. But like my energy levels are never too low anyway, and I'm always in good form when I'm running. And then when I was running with that big group of people, I was like overly excited, you know what I mean, and never shut up. But I mean, my energy levels through that run were unbelievable. I never had a falter. And again, I had no gel, no nothing. And I had my breakfast maybe 2 hours before that run, and then I forgot my gels, but my energy levels were really high, so. And then recovery wise, like, I feel great. Like, I'm ready to go all the time. I woke up this morning, went to work, was ready to go again. So, look, it's early days on the Cairns, but I mean, if I feel like this all the time, then they have to be working, right?
But you're already like the Duracell bunny. Then you've got the placebo effect, whether it's good or not. Then you've got the glycogen replenishment that it's meant to help and speed up. So if anyone's getting a boost from it, it's you.
Yeah.
I've just been doing two every morning. But I've got a race this weekend, and I haven't decided what I'm going to take. I think it might be four before the race, and then an extra dose afterwards to help with recovery as
So that's
well.
six in like in the day. I know it's only berries, right? It's only currants, but I mean, how many can you have in a day?
Well, the toxicity, I'm not a scientist, this is not advice, but the toxicity level of taking blackberries or blueberries or any berries is like super, super high. Like you'd need to take thousands of them to like register anything. So all I know is the likes of Ruth Croft and Kim Collison would be doing the likes of about four at aid stations along long ultras. So like if you think about like a spine race, that could be 8+ per day.
Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
me taking eight in the entirety of the day, pre and post, there's no issues with that.
Yeah, like we'll get it. I'll ask you, but straight after I'll ask you about your week's training. But I mean, I'm interested to do this, like to do it like what way Root Croft's doing it, in a 50K or let's say a 40K training run, and just have them and maybe pop one or two every hour, just to see what that's doing. No?
No, 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 no. For something like a 40K run, are you doing it in the morning with your breakfast? Like,
Yeah,
are you running straight afterwards?
yeah,
Yeah, so I would just go four. Instead of
y-
taking two in the morning, take four.
yeah.
And then because it's 40K now, if you're talking about like 100K, then you might want to start introducing it during, but just take
So
four
you,
before and then take like two afterwards because that'll help the recovery, speeding up the glycogen replenishment in the muscles.
the levels we go to for science. We're doing this for ye. We're doing this for all ye people watching so that we are able, and not just like me and on a whim guessing. Eventually, I will know what this stuff is doing and I'll be able to relay it back to you.
Comment through in the chat that I think we have to mention. Happy anniversary, Ricky. Today is the anniversary of you signing as a pro trail runner for Hoka. So happy anniversary.
Yeah, I just see now it was Trina that had it in the chat, so my lovely wife had it in the chat. Thanks, Trina. But yeah, and look, like it's pretty cool because I literally only signed again, you know what I mean? So like, and I'm telling you, like I had knots in my stomach for the last couple of weeks because you just don't know, and there's pressure, and you wonder, did I do enough last year? Am I doing enough to get another year on my contract? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I am 43 years of age. from Ireland, a country that isn't as well known as some other countries for trail runners. So look, I'm super stoked. I love the brand, and I'll tell you one thing. I like to think loyalty is very, very important, and like I think I've been very loyal to Hoka since I started running for Hoka, you know what I mean? But it works both ways, and they're very loyal to me as well, you know what I mean? So look, big love to Hoka.
And is that why you're wearing the new drip? Because for people that don't know, we were chatting about it yesterday. Were we in the community chatting about it? I know you're posting in with some stuff in the Trail Talk WhatsApp about this, but you got your pro kit for 2026 and all of this stuff arrived. So why don't you tell us what you got? I want to know. You got the speed goats, you've got this fancy
Mm.
looking shirt. Is this
I,
what's the
I,
deal with this shirt?
I don't know. I don't even know what it is. It's like a shacket, right? It's like a jacket and it's like a shirt at the same time. But I put this on not knowing what it was like. And like it's lined. It's all lined. Like it's got fur lining inside. It's so nice. It's so like I think it's super cool. I'm telling you, it's like I don't know, would you call it like core fashion, So there's a couple of bits like that in the drop I got as well. Like there's also, the like the fleecy tops I wear with the snud, that's kind of got like a built-in buff on them, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of very satisfying look. I think it's kind of got that kind of like the ghost fleece, right? But I've got another fleece very similar to that, but it's heavier and it's more for like long days hiking or even after a race or something like that. It is beautiful. It's just like putting on a bear suit. It's so nice. It's just so comfortable. And then look, I got a new Gore-Tex jacket. Like it's in blue. It's beautiful. It's class. Fits like
Don't
a
lose it.
glove.
Don't lose this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, definitely not going to lose this one. Well, hopefully I won't lose this one. Um, and then of course I got the Pro Kit as well. So the Pro Kit, I think the Pro Kit is the same as the Cielo X1 3.0 drop. There was like a capsule done around that shoe, and that was the kit. But that is the kit for the elites this year. So that's very cool. It's white with bits of yellow and orange in it. It's fresh looking. It's a
I
really,
like
really
it.
nice kit. Yeah, yeah. Look, I think it's deadly. And then there was
What shoes did you
tons of
get?
stuff. So yesterday I got the Speed Goat 7. So I got two pairs of Speed Goat 7, black and white pair and sort of a cream kind of color, like a cream
This
or
is where you're
off-white.
meant to like lift them up and go and show the camera.
Yeah, but I didn't know this was coming, so I don't have that in two hand at the minute. Like
See,
they're
we're
all a
spontaneous
lot of
as
it's in.
well. We're
Yeah, yeah.
spontaneous here. We're just talking shit on camera.
Yeah, well, look, and then look, like they know I love the Tecton X4, so there was a couple of pairs of Tecton X4 in there, and a couple of different colors. In that, like, it's actually a color that matches the shirt as well. It's kind of got that orangey
Oh yeah, I've
and
seen
red
them.
and a bit of yellow. Yeah, I actually was like, I don't know about that shoe, like seeing it on other people, and not in my hand. Whereas when I had it in my hand, I was like, oh no, it's really nice. It was kind of like the green one. When I first saw the green one, I wasn't a huge fan of it until then I seen it in real life and I went, oh no, that's deadly. That green is really nice. So yeah, they're deadly. And look, that's only one box. There's another couple of boxes on the way as well. So
You have
more
that
stuff
box ready
coming.
for the next podcast. Next, when
I
that
will,
box
I will, I
arrives,
will.
you have her
Yeah.
sitting beside you so we can do a reveal live on Trail Talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Question in the chat, what happened with the UTMB lottery? Need you to ask, like, tell us what you mean. Lots of things happened with the UTMB lottery, so clarify that and we'll come back to you. What's next, Ricky?
We were gonna go. I have to talk about your training because we talked about my training and we talked about Curran's and we got sidetracked and we didn't get into
Jesus,
your training. So
that was a
let's get
long
into
time
your
ago.
training. Yeah.
Well, I've had now 2 weeks in a row where I've only run 5 days. 2 weeks ago, it was because of the travel, 2 days travel back to Australia. And then the past week, oh man, 2 weeks of, or 2 days of absolute really bad jet lag. It's the worst that ever hit me. Like, I've never had jet lag feel like it was just like, I felt like it was daylight, but it was the middle of the night. And I know that seems really obvious because essentially that's what my body clock felt. But that is how I literally felt. It was like I could not. I sat on the sofa instead of going for a run, and I just fell asleep on the sofa.
Oh, it's
Terrible.
horrible, man. Jet lag is brutal. I suffered like, and it is one of them things. Sometimes you can get out of jail and it's you get nothing from it, and then the next time it absolutely smashes you. There was a time I came back for two trips, like there were two football trips, kind of. I had to go back. Like my club flew me home from Australia, and then I was straight back out. Then I was straight over and straight back out again. And I was going to bed, and I was waking up at like 7 o'clock in the evening. In the evening, and then I was like, "Oh man, I'm wrecked." I go to bed. I would wake up at 7 o'clock the next evening. That happened for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and it had me completely messed up.
Yeah, I was going to bed and waking up at like 1 and 2, and that was me. So the first day where I felt absolutely terrible, I'd been up from like 10 past 2, and we did a trail talk that day.
Yeah,
So my training, what did I do? So in the 5 days, 82K, 8 hours of running, only 1,000 meters of vert, one workout, and my training this past week has been from the Albon app, and that's like just started that off with this training block for Ultra Trail Australia, the 100K, and it had me doing hill sprints, so not strides. These were like max effort, 9 to 10 out of 10, and it was just
how many?
four. It was 4 by 20 seconds at 10% grade, and it said basically you can do between 4 and 10 depending on where you are. But like normally as ultra runners, we're like, oh yeah, I'm doing 10 and I might do 11. But I felt like let's be smart. There's jet lag, and if there's any time to do 10 or to do 4, it was then.
Yeah.
Energy was low. Started the training block. If I'm doing 10, what am I doing in 8 weeks? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I did
yeah.
the 4, and it felt good, and more importantly, I got some DOMs in the glutes. So I'm like, all right, I hit them good. And what else? Yeah, kind of this. I'm coming into a race this week, so I've got a 50K, the Archie 50K, hut to hut down in Victoria in the Australian Alps. 50, I just did all my planning yesterday. 53, 54K and 27, 2,800 meters of vert. So spicy.
Yeah.
And what was it? Yeah, I've got my notes here for it. Like in the first 11K, you drop 1,400 meters. The race starts at 1,800 meters. You basically drop down along this, like this ridge. Does look gnarly. I've checked it out so I could kind of pick my shoes. You drop 1,400 and then you run along like the kind of the valley, and you do 13 river crossings before you then start to climb back up again. And
13 river crossings.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. So I've got that on Saturday, which means we're recording podcast on, for me, Thursday morning. Straight after that podcast, I'll be driving down, 8 hours driving plus stops, race Saturday morning. Looking forward to it, mate. Like the
And
weather does not have rain.
but it's you, Aaron. So the weather doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. You could look at your phone and have that screen in front of you and say, "Oh, clear blue skies all the way," and then you go and rock up to the start line and ruin everyone's day.
Yeah. Looking at previous YouTube videos of this race, and 2 years ago there was snow at the start because it starts at 1,800 meters.
Yeah,
And then last year, it was raining. It started dry and then it was raining, but everyone was wrapped up at the start. Like it's obviously a cold start. 6:30 a.m. at 1,800 meters. I think
yeah,
the
it's gonna be
forecast says
cold. Yeah.
feels like 5, but then the high of the day, which is probably the temperature in the valley, is 23. So to me, it looks like excellent kind of running conditions. Like
And your strategy, like, is it a race for you or like a trainer race? Like, how are you gauging it?
it's a training race. I've based splits off of, I think, 7 to 7.5 hours. I just go on and look where does the top women finish because
Yeah.
that's usually where I finish. And like I think the third place was 7.5 hours. Second place was 7 hours. So I based nutrition on that, and that's all it is. I'm just using that time to plan nutrition. And yeah, look, mate, it's just to go out there, get a training stimulus, get a long day, get the experience like the Australian trail run community. This hut to hut race is a bit of an iconic race in Australia, as I mentioned in previous show.
Yeah.
And I think it's stopping this year. So
Oh.
I wanted to get there. I didn't get an entry for the 100K because it was sold out. So getting to experience it and yeah.
Look, you're better off. I'm glad you didn't get a 100K entry into that. The 50K is just perfect for where you are right now, I think, And like that, it's like, look, I'm all for racing hard, but I mean, we're just both of us are the same. We're both like just sort of starting our next training block, and I mean, you don't want to blow the doors off and it destroy you for the next week, and you miss a week's training because of a 50K that doesn't really mean anything. It's just an experience, right?
Yeah, and I've got the 60K in China at the end of March. So it's a good opportunity to just, just a long, it's just an extra long run. Living in the city, I don't do long trail runs every weekend. So if
Yeah,
I'm doing, like, I did 28K on Sunday as my long run, and it was in the city on roads, it's hard on you. Like, my body
yeah.
was sore. Like, cardio wise, it's fine, but like the hips and everything from the bashing. So I think like 3 hours on the roads is totally fine. And then every 3 weeks, maybe get out and do maybe an extended long run. So I'm treating this as an extended long run. Maybe 7 hours is a bit excessive, but these are the things you got to do whenever you're throwing in near 3,000 meters of vert.
Yeah, but look, I kind of nearly wish I had something to force me into a long run as well, if you get me, because I'm at that stage now where I'm like, I know I need to start doing the long runs, but I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do them just yet. It's very early. But then I look at someone like Sam K who's banging out 50Ks, and I'm thinking, yeah, I need to start doing the longies now. The only thing is like, for me, I was telling you before, like I have some issues with a big toe, and it's not bad, but I mean, if I don't get it sorted quick, I'm going to run into trouble with it. And I also walloped my ankle bone with a hammer a few weeks ago, and that's still sore, right? So I'm booked in with a foot clinic up in Ballyshannon. It's not that far from me, you know what I mean? So at least now I'm getting all that sorted before I start my next training block. It's Jane or foot clinic. So I'm going up there, get it sorted, get it done, and be ready to hit the next training block.
Which is for Swiss Canyon
Swiss
Trail,
Canyon Trail, yes.
28th or 29th of May. Big posse going of Trail Talk community members. I There's still entries in 11
Yeah.
or 16, 30, 50, 80, 111. Pick your distance. There is a Trail Talk discount code. I think it's Trail Talk 20. I'm not sure if there's a limited amount of spots in that discount code. And unfortunately, a lot of trail talkers entered before we even had that discount code. So now I owe them a pint or a coffee after the race. But we'll put a few quid aside and we'll make it happen. But
It'll be like our own like the way Black Canyon did the prize purse this
the
week.
prize purse, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, good point. And like we are cracking well through this show, and we haven't even talked about Black Canyon. So
Mm.
as interesting as my training is, it might be more interesting next week after I've seen my running impact on the Albon app from doing the Archie
The
50. So
50K. That'll be cool actually. That will be cool to see that, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I see Andy Zhang just joined the chat, and I know he's going to be at Hut to Hut as well. So looking forward to getting down there and seeing what Mount Buller and the surrounding area is all about. But look, Black Canyon, let's crack on, have a chat about that before we wrap up the show. Hans fucking Troyer, he is like, you know. he just keeps adding to his hype.
Yeah.
What a run.
Yeah, like very, 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 very impressive run by Hans, and looked ace. Anytime the camera was on him, he looked like he was having a ball out there. He was smiling, he was laughing, he was having the crack, and he was just shredding. He was shredding all day. Ran ran the perfect race, just even when he dropped the hammer on Eli at what, like maybe 50K in, it was just so well timed. It was like, okay, now I'm gonna go, and it was like, it was a masterclass. It was a masterclass. The only thing is, like we'd say, Poopy not running and not finishing and not having, an A race. It's kind of always like that. It's like, oh, what would he have done if Poopy was there? I'm telling you, Poopy would have needed to bring his A game if he was to take Hans on, because Hans is on fire at the minute.
Yeah, 7:20, nearly 5 minutes under Seth's course record. And it's just unbelievable that these guys are running this pace for 100K.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Um, and whenever I tuned into the live stream, that was just before Eli took the chair.
Yeah.
And do you like what do you make of Eli and the 100K distance? Or
Do
is
you
it
know
this
what?
race?
Yeah.
What is it?
I kind of I feel bad. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but I feel for him, right? Because Eli looked like he was the next dude, right? He did. He was coming up from the 50K. He was what seemed like by far and away the best 50K runner in America, right? That's what it looked like. That he was just that 50K expert, and he was starting to move up, and he was making great progress. But then Little Hans comes along and smokes him, and it's like, oh, hold on a second. I was the shit, but now this guy's the shit, and I'm not able to keep up with him. And then even Anthony Gonzalez, like Anthony had a brilliant race as well. And when he passed Eli, that was it. It was time for Eli to sit down. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not saying by any means is he done or anything like that, or like it's he's not going to get any better or anything like that. But it's just sort of one of those things where you think you're at the top and you're going to be the next king of the 100K. There's always somebody, there's always the next person, and Hans seems to be that next guy, like.
Yeah, look, it's the thing is, you have a small window in this sport of being the best because there's always someone coming through, and we saw Hans coming through, and he will have a window too because
Yeah.
there's somebody, you know, a handful of years younger than him who's shredding that we just haven't heard of. So, like, yeah, it just feels like Eli hasn't cracked that distance, and I'm not sure if he will crack it in time before he's just swallowed up by the next generation.
That exactly, my point exactly. It's like, was this your time and you missed it, and you just missed it, you were so close and you just missed it. It's kind of like that. Adam Peterman kind of is there as well. It's like, did you just miss it? You were so close to being dominant, but then you just missed it. But that's the sport at the minute. You know what I mean? Like, he ran 7:20. Hans ran 7:20. Seth Ruling's record was broke. Seth Ruling's record what didn't even last 12 months. Do you know what I mean? It's The sport is just getting faster and faster. It's so exciting at the minute. Like, and that's on both men and women's side.
Yeah, like what can Hans do at States?
Yeah.
Like he has experience there now as well. Like he's young, he's fast, but he's also gaining a lot of experience. And
Yeah.
he knows how to win, he knows how to run fast, he's got experience of states, he's now with Hoka, training with, the best as well. Like where's he gonna go with this? What's his
Like,
potential at states?
yeah, like confidence is everything, and I mean his confidence is like through the roof at the minute. He's got a big brand behind him, putting a lot of support behind him, but he's just dominated. He dominated that race, dominated it. Like, so he's going to take that into Western States with him. But at the same time, he's still going to have his work cut out to win states, you know, and I mean, like it's still so competitive, like, you know, and it's only like minor details. The only problem is it's that distance, you know, like we're talking 100K, pushing that hard for 100K. You can't push that hard for 100 mile. So then there'll be somebody else in Western States that's a little bit more, I don't know, shrewd at the 100 miler distance, you know. So it changes the game, you know. It changes the game. It's not a 100K race anymore. It's a 100 mile race, you know.
Yeah, well, it's nearly double the time.
Yeah,
To run 14 hours at States, it's double a Black Canyon, and
yeah,
it's hotter as well, so it's more wearing on you. But the interesting thing is, if you think back to States last year, and the focus was a lot of the attention was getting grabbed by David Roach, and his hands as coach, right? And it was like, oh yeah, we'll maybe run together, or this type of thing. But Roach was like grabbing the headlines this year. Like, it just feels like
yeah,
Roach is in the bin, and Hans is like, we're talking more about Hans, like, what if he won it?
yeah, yeah,
Like, where would he be if he imagine if he won states? The guy would be to the moon.
yeah, yeah. Maybe, but that's it, and that's why Hoka signed him. You know what I mean? They see the potential. They want the next, like, let's say the next Jim Walmsley, and they're putting their money on Hans been the next Jim Walmsley, like the next dominant force in America and maybe even in Europe, but definitely in America, right?
Yeah, it seems like a very smart move now. What about Poopy and the fall? Didn't he fall at like 10K?
Yeah, 9 or 10K, yeah.
Dislocated his shoulder, and the only thing was, do you remember he posted up before, like about the hip, or wasn't it hip pain or something?
Hip,
And then
yeah.
and then he said post race, oh, the hip was fine. I didn't even feel the
Yeah,
hip,
yeah,
but it just fell.
yeah.
And I said it in the WhatsApp. I'm like, this hip thing, this is like taper niggle. Like, it just, it's like sometimes you start, or you're going to taper week and you're like, oh, I've got a funny feeling in my knee, which has never been there before. I think that's what the hip thing was.
Yeah, look, you feel for him too, like 9K in and you have a bad fall. And I don't know, like, what, at what distance did he drop out? Did he go for much longer after that 9K? But I can only imagine it was like race was over straight away. Like, I'd say he got up and he just felt the shoulder go, and it was like, okay, this is done now, you know. So I'm out of here. And like he invested, I don't know, did I see it on Instagram or something? But like he did put a big training block in for that race. You know, he got very specific for that race. He wanted to have a day, and look, this ultra running.
Shit happens. It
Yeah,
you know you could say it about it happens to everybody, and
yeah.
it's unfortunate. We don't like to see anyone falling and having an injury, but also Killian won Hard Rock with dislocated shoulder. So I mean,
I
Poopy,
knew
try
you were
harder,
gonna say
try
that.
harder.
Yeah, yeah,
No, we're only
yeah,
joking. We're only joking. And what about Jen Lichter?
yeah,
100K debut. Did you see the follow cam footage
yeah.
of her at the race? Absolute weapon.
It followed her for so long. It was brilliant. But I mean, Hoka athlete, Flo,
And
and
Flower.
Flower, like that was some race. Hey,
That was
that
a
was
race.
some race. That was a proper race. Like that was deadly. Like all of a sudden she was like 40 seconds behind her, and it's like, oh wow, like Jen cannot, she cannot make a mistake, you know. And Flowers had no pacer, you know, no pacer, and Jen Lichter's pacer was bombing it. She's uh I think like I'm trying to think what was her name that was pacing Jen Lichter. She's like a 220 something marathon runner, you know what I mean? That it was deadly. Like that was end to end racing for the guts of 100 kilometers, you know, nothing in it, like nothing in it.
Yeah, 19 minutes under Riley's course record, and all three women under 8 hours.
Yeah,
Or no, all three women under the course record.
yeah, yeah.
So unbelievable run by Jen. Um, yeah. I mean, what can she do? She's just
Yeah,
it's that next generation, like up to 100K now. So it's not like it's can be hard to make the jump from the shorter distance trail and the 50K up to 100K and continue and keep that speed. But that was just an unbelievable performance.
but she's another athlete that is just on it right now. You know what I mean? Everything she does well, and she just has result after result, and then that's confidence, confidence building on top of confidence. And I mean, she's just in her head. I'd say she's unbeatable at the minute. You know what I mean? She's the one to beat, like at the minute, and that's deadly. Like her first 100K race, smashed it out of the park. Very, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, a couple more things on Black Canyon. Molly Seidel got the ticket, took the ticket. What do
Yeah.
you think of that?
Very cool. Very cool. An Olympian, bronze medalist, super, super cool. And seems committed to the trails. Made a couple of mistakes out there, that probably cost her a position or two, but it doesn't matter because she still ends up with a golden ticket. But I mean, like, how brave too, right? I know, like, everyone wants to do Western States, but somebody like Molly, like Western States, let's say when she was in her prime running marathons, that was the furthest thing from her imagination. I would imagine, I would guess, running a 100-mile race, in 40-degree heat. Whereas now she's like chomping at the bit, and she's probably thinking, you never know, I could win this thing. And I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah, she was running under course record and then apparently ran out of water at one spot, so that may have affected like the ultimate finishing speed. But she was just so happy and excited with the finish. I kind of love that she's unsponsored as well, rocking some Satisfy. I think she was wearing the ACG Ultrafly on her feet as well. So pretty cool, but also pretty scary that she's taken the ticket and she's just gone, what was it, end of November or December, her first 50K at Bandera,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Black Canyon to her first 100K, takes a ticket, and now she's into a training block for her first 100 miler.
Yeah, if ever you saw a way of not to do it, that's the way to do it. And she's the biggest professional out there at the minute. You know what I mean? She is the biggest professional out there. Like, but she's jumped 50, 100 miler. Like, that's insane. Like the way she's done it. But it's very cool to see it. But what else is deadly about it? Right? Before I knew how technical Black Canyon was, and I was thinking, oh yeah, it's just a runnable race, kind of like Western States. It's not. It's a very technical race. Western States is not technical. It is not technical. It is a very fast race. So the Western States course will suit her much better than what Black Canyons did. And look at the time she put down on Black Canyon.
Yeah, good correction on the canyon there. I clocked it.
I,
What did
I
you
really have to think about it. I really have to think about it.
What did you make of the race purse, the sort of crowd-funded prize money that was distributed to the top three? First, let me just set the scene. Like people watching the live stream could contribute to a prize pool that then was split between the top three men and women in each distance. And this was on top of the prize purse from Araviba, which I think was maybe $5,000 or something. I think it ultimately got to like 16 odd thousand total, and I think that looked like a check to the winner of about $2,500. As a headline, I don't like crowdsourcing prize money, but I do like how they went about it and how it was more like a way of distributing donations that were coming through the live stream or the live chat, because we've had this for at least a couple of years where people are doing super chats and bonuses on the likes of Cocodona. And that
Yeah.
money, I think, they're just picking a charity or going towards the operating costs for Aravipa. This time they used that money and just thought, well, we'll give it to the athletes. The negative part of this is other races can go, we'll do that too, we'll use this system. But it kind of, in my opinion, also gives an out to the people that should be paying the prize money.
Yeah, yeah. If every race did that, if every race did that, that'd be. I think that's a negative thing. That's a negative thing if every race did. It was cool to see them do that. It was because it was very cool to see it in the live feed. Like I was watching the money come in. There was when Jen Lichter was ripping it up, and Anne Flower was coming up behind her. You could see $200 entering into the prize purse. From somebody, and it'd say their name or something. Whoever donated that money, and I thought, yeah. They're putting that in there. That 200 quid is in there because you're getting value for money right now because this race is on fire, right? And that's super cool, and it's great way of like giving the athletes extra money like a bonus, right? But if every race did that, like you said, if every race did that, then the race organizers would put up no prize money and it'd all be crowdfunded. And I think that's very, number one, I think it's cheeky, but it's also forced, and so like you're expecting the viewer to pay for the prize money, and I think that's a bad thing. That's definitely a bad thing.
Yeah, these races already operate largely with volunteers, maybe getting some race credits. And it feels like it's almost like taking that volunteer model and pasting it onto the prize money. So that doesn't sit quite right, but I do think it was well done.
Yeah,
And it's going to take off because everything Jamil puts his hand to takes off. And we could see comments on the Instagram post whenever it was announced that, oh, this is brilliant. I'd love to do that for our race, or we should bring that to the Northeast, and these types of comments. So it is going to get traction. And yeah,
the
nicely
only
done.
other
It
way,
felt like
yeah,
it felt like Twitch streaming. Like you could donate to
yeah,
watch somebody or give a super chat to somebody because you're watching them complete a difficult level in a game. It had that sort of vibe about it, and I like that kind of gamification of it.
yeah. I think there should be like a clause in it, So let's say if the money that was crowdfunded went over what the prize fund was, then the race organizer would have to match what they would have to match what the prize fund went in or something like that, just so that they didn't that it wasn't all coming from the crowdfunding.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that the big negative is that it has the potential to let the organizer off the hook. And if you look at the amount of sponsors on Black Canyon and the entries as well, biggest 100K in America, a slew of top level sponsors at the race. It's not a money thing. And I think there was one comment in the WhatsApp community about, but some of the races are maybe lost leaders. That's a fair enough comment, but I don't think anyone thinks that Aravaipa is, breaking even or buffing along the break even line. We know that they're the UTMB of America essentially, but with the friendly face at the helm of Jamil Coury. And I mean, how lucky America are to have that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, don't. Yeah, they're not just surviving; they're thriving. But like I enjoy everything to do. I'm sure you do. You know what I mean? Like it brings more trail running to our televisions, to YouTube, to whatever. It gives the sport massive amount of traction, and that's what we want. We want the sport to grow. It's just be a little bit careful. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, benevolent dictator. With a the happy benevolent dictator with doing the right thing for the sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes a difference. Anyway, Ricky, look, I think we've run time. We've had a long show today, and Ricky needs to get to bed because back to the grind tomorrow.
Yeah. Energy levels are high. Currents are working.
All right. If you want to chat about Black Canyon, Barkley, Tarawera, Currans, Albanap, whatever, Swiss Canyon Trail, jump on the Trail Talk WhatsApp. Linktree will get you wherever you're going, whether it's one of those discounts or to join the community or to join the Strava meetup or whatever you're interested in. And you know, if you don't join, it doesn't fucking matter. So it's up to you.
No,
Che
keep showing up. Keep showing up in the chat.
no, it doesn't matter. Check out the vlog on YouTube. We'd love to know what you think of that. There's a lovely moment in there where we caught you getting Trail Runner of the Year up in the mountains. Shawnee Clifford sneaked up there with the plaque and the award. So that's part of the vlog as well.
I still
Yeah,
haven't hung it up.
yeah. Well, good to see it. And yeah, that's all from me. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.